Today at www.iamlietova.com, we're sitting in Cleveland, Ohio with Linas Johansonas. Personally, a person I've admired for many years since I've followed him when he was very dynamic in the Cleveland music scene when I followed James Scott around. So thank you. On a personal note, it's a true privilege to be sitting with you here at Lithuania.
I thank you for having me on your show. I'm actually a fan of your show, and I feel honored to be on it with the likes of Ruta Lee and Ann Gillian and the other guests that you've had on. So thanks for having me on. And boy, I'm very proud of you, what you're doing with I Am Lietova. What a great project. So thank you for actually doing this project.
Actually, tonight, really, you are a person that I've looked up to for a long time. You have LT News, which is an amazing portal that helps unite and share important information with the world's Lithuanians. Can you share with us what your impetus was in developing it?
Well, in my previous life, I owned with my ex-wife, a Lithuanian deli in a Lithuanian resort town outside of Chicago, and she got me convinced to get on something called Facebook. And this was probably 9 years ago, and to promote our business. And we started promoting our business, and because it was not just a Lithuanian business, we also had a lot of American customers that were following our page. We were posting events, Lithuanian events that were happening, and we just felt that a lot of our American customers wouldn't be interested in that. So Paul Rukshanas, who is the actually founder of the LT News website, at the same time had approached me asking for help to promote LT News website that he was developing. And I'm like, what a great idea. Let's just start an LT News page on Facebook where we'll do all the Lithuanian stuff. And basically the idea was to bring Lithuanians, especially the first and second generations, together with news of who's playing. And now that we live in this free Lithuania world, we're getting artists like Andrius Mamontovas and Marijonas Mikutavičius coming from Lithuania playing in Chicago or New York. Or there's, right now, Joninės happening in Michigan at Pilėnai, and all these events and stuff, because I noticed Lithuanians like to travel to the other Lithuanian communities in America. We got this, the dance festival coming up and things like that. So it was started as a portal to kind of unite everybody with information, Lithuanian information that's happening here in the States. And organically and naturally, all of a sudden there's Lithuanian news in English we're posting, because there was really no sources to get Lithuanian news of what was happening just in the Lithuanian world in general in English. Everything's in Lithuanian, and you have a lot of, especially first and second generation Lithuanians who might speak a little bit Lithuanian or read a little bit Lithuanian, but they're not going to read an article, let's say, in Lietuvos Rytas newspaper portal or Delphi. So it was really important. We noticed that there was a lack of that in English, and all of a sudden it just kind of grew organically. And the nice thing about Facebook is it allows you to look. They give you statistics, and we started noticing that, and at this point right now we have more than 50% of our readers, our followers, are actually in Lithuania. So as time went, LT News grew and expanded and actually changed and evolved from where it started, and right now it's turned into one of the main sources for people that do not read or speak Lithuanian, and even a lot of them do. But they're just interested in sort of maybe the different editorial perspectives we take on the world, because we're actually right now, outside of the Lithuanian print newspapers from Chicago like Draugas or Tėviškės Žiburiai in Toronto, but we're really the only Lithuanian news in English daily news outlet from outside of Lithuania's borders. And so we kind of have a different perspective. We're kind of on the outside of the glass looking in, instead of being inside the glass where most of the news agencies in Lithuania are, which I think gives them, the reader, a different perspective. We do a lot of information of the Lithuanian activities from around the world, Australia and the United States, and the communities, whether it's Balzekas Museum in Chicago or the new Drama Burger restaurant opening up, the Lithuanian burger chain opening up in Tampa, Florida. Now there's going to be one this fall. We just announced in Scottsdale, Arizona, Sonata restaurant will be opening in September, which is a fabulous thing, because we really in the United States don't have many Lithuanian restaurants. And all of a sudden we started hearing, and I started receiving inquiries from people, Lithuanians in Brazil, in Argentina, Could you post this picture of us celebrating, Independence Day or having a song festival, and all of a sudden, real Japanese, like not Lithuanians living in Japan, but I mean Japanese living in Japan, all of a sudden we noticed that they have a very big fascination for our culture and our country. And one woman who owns a store in Hiroshima called Little Lithuania, she sells linens and linen fabrics and clothes from Lithuania in Hiroshima, and she got a hold of us, and we ended up exposing her and the other things going on in Japan, the Japan-Lithuania exchange program, and what was interesting is all of a sudden we noticed the Lithuanian media is following LT News. We started breaking news over there by exposing it first. And because of just maybe, again, we're on the outside of the glass looking in, not inside the glass, and you kind of see the Lithuanian world maybe with different glasses.
You've done a lot of things for the worldwide Lithuanian community. What do you see next? What are your mission or your goals for the future?
Well, right now, I grew up in the United States during the Soviet times, and, we'd go to these February 16th commemorations, and the American politicians and our Lithuanian leaders would stand on the stage, and one day Lithuania will be free, and all of us sitting in the audience were like, yeah, right, we're never gonna, the Soviet Union, it's not gonna collapse, really. And then one day we woke up and it happened. And so, I'm constantly thinking, what are the Lithuanian history books and textbooks in Lithuanian schools gonna say about us now, that we regained our independence, and what did we do to help the country grow and to keep it independent, and I find it very exciting times. It's very historic times for our people who have been around for a very long time on this planet. I'm so proud of our basketball players. For a small country, we're number 3 in the world. Think of the percentages of 3 million people and that many basketball stars just in the NBA, and what the national team accomplishes, is phenomenal. Not to mention all the other athletes right now in free Lithuania that have blossomed on the world stage, whether it's Ruta Meilutytė with swimming, we have the female world champion pentathlon champion, Žydrūnas Savickas, the strongest man in the world. On and on and on and on. And it's just amazing. So, that's my drive, is just, it's exciting because I never thought I'd see the day. Plus the fact that right now, we seem to have a little bit of a threat again from somebody who has a bad habit of wanting to, for some reason, invade our little Lithuania and occupy it like it has for, remember Russia has invaded Lithuania more than once in our history. They kind of have a bad habit about it. And so, we've only been independent for 25, 26 years. That's really not that long of a time. So right now with, you see what's going on in Crimea and Ukraine and Georgia, and even right now, you watch, I monitor a lot of the Russian media, and they're doing the same thing to us right now that Russia was doing to Ukraine and Crimea, brainwashing kind of with their sort of narrative of Crimea is ours and the Ukrainians are persecuting our Russians and blah 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 blah, and so for her pretext to do whatever it is they're going to do, and they're now doing it to the Lithuanians in the Baltics. They're claiming that I saw one report on Russian TV where we're not the real Lithuanians, really, we're the fake Lithuanians, that we actually stole the real Lithuanians' history from the Belarusians, that Mindaugas wasn't really Lithuanian, he was Belarusian, and he wasn't Roman Catholic, that he was Russian Orthodox. And it's amazing the kind of stuff that they spew.
Okay. So actually, you're the kind of work you do is kind of you're working to preserve Lithuania's freedom, much like several generations of your forefathers and your family. You do it in a cyber way, but they actually fought.
Thank God that I don't have to pick up a gun right now, because my that I've traced back so far, my great-great-grandfather and his brothers, they were all doctors, they were all noblemen from the Telšiai area. They were all involved in the 1863 uprising against Russia, and obviously they didn't succeed, but they all ended up in Siberia for 10 years where one of the brothers died. And my great-great-grandfather was also, and this is documented stuff in information in books, but he was one of the main financiers of the book smugglers, the Knygnešiai, when Russia had outlawed the Lithuanian language in Lithuania. And his brother was actually the doctor to Motiejus Valančius, who was basically the leader of the underground press at that time. My grandfather, one of my grandfathers, fought the Bolsheviks in World War I. My father in World War II was a partisan and fought the Russians then. Yet alone things like one of my great-grandmothers is General Plahovich's godmother, and her son, my great-grandfather, my mom's grandfather, his signature is on the first litus, Lithuanian money. There were only 2 signatures on the first lituses, and one of my great-grandfather's signatures is on it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. You do so much for our Lithuanian community. We ask all of our guests the food question. Some of us who don't speak Lithuanian anymore, we're still bound to our culture through our shared love of Lithuanian food. Could you share with us, Inlay, your very favorite Lithuanian dish?
I knew you were going to ask that because I do watch your show, and I know that you asked this at the end with all of your interviews. What's funny is LT News operates 2 groups on Facebook. One's called the Lithuania Group, and the other one that's very popular has like 8,500 members. It's called I Love Lithuanian Food. And I knew you were going to ask this question. I got to say, there's not one in particular because I love a lot of Lithuanian food. So I'll boil it down to, like, I love koldūnai, which are like the Lithuanian style pierogies. I love the cold beet soup, šaltibarščiai. I love things like the fried garlic rye bread, kepta duona, especially with cheese over it, is just, one of my favorite snacks. I like potato sausage, the vėdarai. I love the spice of Lithuania, which is sour cream and bacon bits. And things like the vinaigretas, we call it here in the United States, which a lot of people in Lithuania call the red salad, the raudona mišrainė, which is the beet or beet and potato salad. Just, love that kind of stuff. So, and I love herring. What my mom would call king herring, karališkas silkės, which is basically with the onions and tomato sauce.
Amazing. I love all of those things too.
So yeah, I can't boil it down to one. I love Lithuanian food. What can I say?
Thank you, Linai. And then our final question. What does being a lietuvis or lietuvybė mean to you?
Well, I think I've actually talked a little bit about it because of my background of just the long family history in Lithuania that's rich, and I'm very proud of what my ancestors, did in Lithuania, and yet, I'm very proud of being part of this unique and noble tribe on this planet, and with a very rich, unique history. That I grew up my whole life until like 1991. Nobody knowing what I was in America. You'd stand up that first day in geography class of the school season, and the teacher would ask you to stand up and say, what nationality are you? And the kids would be like, I'm half German and half Italian, and I'm Scotch-Irish and, Norwegian or Swedish. And then I'd stand up and I'd go, I'm Lithuanian. And the whole room would go silent, and there would always be that one kid that would go, oh, I've heard of you, you're Lutheran. And then when you'd explain to them that we're a country occupied by the Soviet Union, then, the knife comes out and kind of stabs you in the heart with oh, you're Russian. And it's like, no, we have nothing in common with them. We have nothing to do with them outside of that they occupy us. So, it was, kind of strange that now, all you have to do, like in Cleveland, is mention Žydrūnas Ilgauskas, the Cavs, and everybody knows who we are. Oh yeah, you guys, basketball. So that's a great thing, I am Lithuanian. Your website, your name of your project basically, says it all to me, because even though I was born in the United States, I was raised, my first language was Lithuanian, not English. I was raised as though I was born in a foreign land, and we're living in a foreign land. And so I see myself as a Lithuanian. I mean, my uncle was born in the Czech Republic. My aunt was born in Kiev, just because my grandfather had to travel for Lithuania. And so it just so happened they happened to be born in those countries, but it doesn't make my uncle Czech or my aunt Ukrainian. And, I used to say to people, just because I was born in America doesn't really make me American. So, it is who I am. I mean, that's my identity. I am Lietuva.
Ačiū labai, Linai. It was really amazing sitting down with you here at this amazing Lithuanian club here in Cleveland, Ohio. Ačiū labai.
Ačiū tau, and wishing you the best of luck with this I Am Lietuva project, and looking forward to who else you're going to interview on the show. You such great stuff.
Thank you. Ačiū. Iki kito karto. This is www.iamlietuva.com.